now. I just want to say, if you're a beginning grant writer, don't worry if you feel overwhelmed. I always say to myself when I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's just a sign you're getting into new territory, not a sign that you should turn back. The key with anything new for you is always start small, take baby steps, and don't do it alone. So we'll talk about how you can, even in New York City, or I always tell people, if you have friends on the West Coast, they can be part of your team too. But how do you get other people involved so you are not writing a grant alone? Because if there's any mistake the beginners make, it's they do this alone. And it's, you know, I interviewed many, many successful artists, and they're quoted in the book. And even the most successful ones used at least one or two people to help them assemble their stuff. They were not putting their grants together, grant applications by themselves. So, for those of you that aren't writers, sometimes I feel like you're a visual artist or performing artist who's not a writer. You do need to learn how to write to be able to write a grant. And it's kind of like the equivalent of somebody saying to me, oh, Gigi, could you dance like a little interpretive dance so that we can understand what your novel is going to be about? And I'd be like, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta learn how to be a dancer? Or Gigi, could you play a little clarinet piece for us so we can understand what the memoir is going to be about? It's like, oh my God, I have to go out and learn how to play the clarinet in order to explain to these people. So having to write about your work sometimes can feel like, wait a minute, I'm not a writer, not fair. The truth is, yes, it's not fair. However, even for the writers, by forcing yourself to learn this other art form and to articulate what you want, what your work is about, why it's important, why it needs to be out in the world, when you get back to the studio, it's going to help you be so much more focused, and it's really going to make your work better. So I just want you to know the process of grant writing is going to help you, even if you don't send that application in, when you get back to the studio to actually make your work. That is one of the messages I have throughout my book, because I feel like, you know, our time is precious, and it's important to make things pay double, triple ways, so that you're winning even if you don't finally win the grant. Okay, so let's start with, on that note, why would you write a grant application besides the money? What are some of the benefits you might gain from the process of writing and submitting a grant application besides the money? Yeah.
It helps you clarify your vision.
Yes. It's a great way to figure out what you're doing. So great to clarify your vision. Other reasons? Yeah.
To practice articulating what you do and
Yes.
why you do it.
It's great practice articulating. What else? Yeah.
It could help to organize your work.
Yes. That actually, no one has ever said that, but that is so true. It helps you organize your work. You have to sit down and look through, you know, you're going to put together a work sample. We'll talk about how that fits in with everything else to show your past work. It helps you, you know, open up the files or however you keep your work and get that all organized and then figure out what's the best work to show on this particular application. So great. Other stuff, yeah.
Gaining a grant is a validation of your credentials.
Yes. New Yorkers are so articulate. I love this. It's a validation, and it's also a credential.